How you supersize your business is a question of taste. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, and our idiom for supersize your business for female entrepreneurs today is a question of taste. Now, we talked about ask a silly question, get a silly answer, I think last week probably. And this idiom has a similar etymology or background, of course, because they both involve the word question. And so we talked about already, where did this come from? When did it come from? Questions and questioning. And so let's leave that behind. It's like the 1500s or the 1300s or the 13th century or the 15th century. Long time ago, hundreds of years, we've been asking questions. And the truth is, we are always asking questions. We're always evaluating everything. That's how our brain thinks and works. It's comparing things, usually in pictures, not in words first, and feelings first, and then in words. We put things into words. So a question of taste means it's an issue determined by the kind of distinct flavors, textures, aromas, matters are dictated by our personal preferences, right? What we prefer, and each of us is different, so we prefer different things, which is what makes the world an awesome place, by the way. The fact that we are all different. I think it's really interesting. Diversity is actually one of my favorite topics, but not diversity from a prejudice standpoint, but the power of diversity and what focusing on what makes us all unique and special brings to the world and to our organizations. So what are some ways that we can understand ourselves better and our personal preferences? We're talking about this. We're spending a whole year on it in the annual challenge this year, the BU 365-day challenge, to do one thing every day that improves us. And the whole focus of the challenge is to get to know ourselves better and become a better version of ourselves. How do we become the best possible version of ourselves? By understanding ourselves, what makes us tick, what our beliefs are, what works for us, what doesn't work for us, what our strengths are, and what the things that we just don't care about and don't like to do, the things we don't prefer, are just a matter of taste, a question of taste, a subjective, very subjective thing, subjective for each and every one of us. How do you merge all that chaos and craziness together to create what you want in the world? Well, you can only create for yourself, right? And you can bring other people with you, but the truth is we can only think, feel, act, and behave for ourselves. We can influence other people, but we cannot control their behavior. Some people try to manipulate and control, but it usually doesn't work. So it's a matter of taste, a matter of style. So question for you today, what's your style? Do you know what your preferences are? Do you know what your style is? I met a gentleman by the name of Myron Golden in 2018, actually at Funnel Hacking Live. Awesome guy, right? One of my favorite people in the world now. I love when we meet people that are so smart, they just blow your mind. And Myron is one of those people. And he taught something recently, and he's been teaching it for a long time, but I was reminded of it again. And it's this, I'll show you my notes. I always write everything down, whether I can read it or not. It talks about actually the transformation and the different stages that we go through, I think, as human beings, and how much value we're creating in the world at each of those different levels. And I can see myself having gone through most of these levels already, right? The bottom level is implementation, where we're acquiring a skill, learning how to do something, and we're actually going out and doing it. So when I got out of college and became an engineer and went to my first job, I was actually an implementer. Soon after that, I went to the unification stage, where I was promoted to I was always a manager, but promoted to running a team of people, which meant I needed to manage them, manage projects, bring them together, make improvements in the processes and systems, etc. of that organization. So implementation, doing it yourself, is the first stage, learning the skills and applying them. The next level is managing and leading other people. The next level above that is communication. And last year I actually got a coach in communication and confidence, because I realized it's the foundation of everything else. Communication and our ability to share a message, spread a message, engage with other people, share our expectations, let people know who we are. It's all a part of communication. And at communication, communicators make the most money, according to Myron. And I guess if I think about my life, that's true for me as well. The better communicator I became and become, the more money I make. Not that it's about money, but also the more impact and the more I can make the world a better place. I know, naive, right? But so many of us entrepreneurs just want to make the world a better place. And we do that through communication. And the final stage in that, which he calls imagination. When you combine imagination and communication, think of Steve Jobs, think of Elon Musk, right? He's a good communicator, and he is got incredible ideas that he implements, right? Well, he doesn't actually implement them. He has the ideas, communicates the ideas, and he gets other people to implement and unify them, right? To actually do the work and manage the work of other people. And I think that's what all billionaires do. I don't think you can get to be a billionaire without being able to communicate your ideas and imagination and your vision to a lot of other people. So just wanted to share that because I think it's so fascinating. I also want to talk about, if you don't know what your style is, there's so many tools. There's been tools pretty much even my childhood. Myers-Briggs, I think, came out, and my dad brought it home. He learned about it at 3M when he was working in corporate America. And he brought it home and had all of us in the family do it. And that was my first taste of understanding myself better, understanding my personality and the impact it had on myself, my decision-making, other people, etc. And wish I would have applied it back then and really learned from it, but I was too young. And then it wasn't until I experienced it again in college and then again in corporate America. And now there's disc analysis, there's extended disc analysis. There's probably dozens and dozens of different free or paid personality tests where you can learn your style. And the Myers-Briggs format has been changed and modified so many times that there's definitely a way to find out and get to know more about yourself if you want to. And the truth is, our business will only grow as fast as we do. So I highly recommend, if you haven't ever done a disc analysis, I actually, in my organization for a long time now, for probably going on 20 years, I have my disc analysis, and everybody I hire does the disc analysis. Not necessarily disc, but one of those tools, so that we know what our strengths are, so we know how to work together, so we know how to build on one another's strengths, not just beat each other up for we're not doing the way someone else thinks we should do it. All right, so I'd love to know, a question of taste. Have you used this idiom? I think almost everybody has used or heard this idiom with respect to understanding that so many things around us are absolutely positively subjective, and it's just a matter of someone's opinion and your opinion. We get to decide who we want to work with, who we want to serve. It's a matter of taste. Who do you like to work with? Who do you want to serve? Things like that. All right, have an awesome day. I'm having a breather day today. If I can help you anyway, ask. Otherwise, I'll be with you tomorrow.